I found some really interesting kitchen gadgets online that I just couldn't resist buying, so I ordered some so we can test them out. First on our list is this corn on the cob stripping tool. I placed an order and this box arrived. I opened it up, unpacked it all, and here's the tool. Well, it's pretty solid, it feels nicely made, and the idea is we attach this part here to a drill, and these stainless steel bolts remove the kernels from the cob. I've got to say, it sounds a bit dangerous. And they even supply you with these safety gloves. They are quite small though. They also supply this little spanner, which you can use to undo the lock nut here, so you can adjust the bolts in or out to accommodate different sizes of corn. So I grabbed my drill and fitted it in the chuck. And wow, yeah, that looks terrifying. It looks like something you'd use to drill through concrete, and I'm supposed to push a piece of corn up inside that when it's spinning. Okay, so I grabbed some sweet corn, and I'm fully expecting the finished results to look something like this. But I'm not really sure how we're supposed to size the corn up to set the adjusters correctly. I mean, it kind of looks like it'll work, so I guess we just give it a try. Of course, I'm using my highly protective safety glove. I started up the drill, and here goes nothing. And, oh wow, check that out. Oh, that's messy. Look, it's pulled it all off. That looks amazing. If we do the other end too, and... yeah, well, let's have a look. And, oh, well, that's definitely not given me the nice kernels of corn I was hoping for. It's kind of half blended it all. It's just kind of mush, and it's dripping with juice. Maybe I need to wind the screws in more. So I emptied it out and gave it a clean. Then adjusted all the screws to make a wider gap in the middle. So, take two, here goes. And it's going in quite easily this time, and it's certainly stripping it off the cob easily, and this time it's even more mushy. Those bolt heads must just be slamming into the kernels. So I'm going to give it one more try, but this time I'm winding the bolts closer together, and using the other end of the corn that we started. Check it out, it looks exactly the same again. So if you want to make mushy sweet corn, this tool's great. You can actually see the difference in diameter from where I adjusted the bolts, but it didn't seem to have much effect. It certainly didn't work as well for me as this gadget did. This one worked really well, but maybe I was doing something wrong. And if you've got any ideas what, let me know in the comments and I'll try again. But at the moment, I'm going to give this gadget 1 star. Now, next on our list is this. It's a manual hand food chopper. Wow, check that out. That looks pretty vicious. It's like the sine wave in blade form. And here's the base part. This part goes around the blade. Here's the kind of upstand it sits on, and a cover on the bottom. So put it back together, and let's give it a try. The idea is we just push down on the top here, and it pushes the blades down to chop whatever's underneath. But it also rotates the blades to really slice things up thoroughly. The box says it's for spices, vegetables, nuts and onions. So I grabbed an onion, sliced off the ends, and peeled it. And we're ready to try it. Remove the cover off the base, sit it over the onion, and oh, that's disappointing. It doesn't even fit all the way over. Well, I can't use it like that, so I guess I'll cut it down the middle. Now let's try again. It's nicely lined up underneath, and give it a push down, and oh, it's stuck on the blade. Yep, I can't go up or down. Oh, I'm gonna really hammer it. I think we're through. Well, it's certainly not what I envisaged happening with this. Yeah, it's clogging up the blades. I'm just going to keep hitting it and moving it back and forwards. And yeah, there we go. It's starting to free up. Keep going, and well, actually, that's come out quite well. There's obviously still a load of onion up inside here, but yeah, that's done a good job of shredding it. Pretty cool, huh? This time I'm going to cut the onion up a bit smaller. And you might say, what's the point of the chopper if you've got to first cut it up with a knife? But it just takes seconds to do those initial first cuts, and unless you're really good with a knife, it would probably take the average person quite a long time to cut things as finely as this with a knife. So I can see the point. That's done pretty well. So I'm testing it out with some peppers, which I've pre-cut first, a couple of celery sticks, and I'll be trying it with garlic too. Give that a bash, and straight away it's doing that pepper really nicely. Yeah, that's really easy. It doesn't take long at all to mince up that celery stick as well. And let's try with the garlic. To be fair, that has worked really well. So if you struggle chopping up stuff really finely, I'd say it's a really good tool. But often these gadgets are a nightmare to clean. So let's take a look. As we saw earlier, it comes apart easily. There's produce all over the blade there, but that can easily be rinsed off, and it also comes with a handy little brush for getting in between the blades. So actually, cleaning it isn't a problem at all, but I do want to see how well it works with nuts. For these, I'm actually tipping them inside of the gadget like this. Then I put the cover back on the base, because apparently if you don't want to use a chopping board, you can use it like this. So give it a bash and, oh, keep going. I think I need to hold it steady with 2 hands. But yeah, that certainly seems to be working. Look at that. Let's open it up and empty it out, and it's really taken no time at all to completely cut up these mixed nuts. It's worked really well. There's a link in the description if you want to buy one, and I'm going to give this chopper 4 stars. But next on my list is this. It's a garlic and ginger chopper or grater, and it's actually got this moving part which slides back and forwards over the cutters, and this plug so we can push down on the produce. This was quite a budget item, and it does feel quite cheap, but I'm going to be comparing it to this one. This is pretty much the Big Brother version, but it costs quite a bit more. It's got a nice cover that goes over the blade. Here's the plunger piece, and the bit that slides back and forward, which we can actually remove, and you can actually see as well as the grater section. This one also has a slicer. If we're grating, we just slide back and forward here, and if we're slicing, we go to the other end. But first off, the green one. I peeled a clove of garlic, and sat it down in the hole, placed the top on, and started grating. And, well, yeah, that's working. It definitely feels a little bit flimsy, but to be fair, that's worked really well. Lift the top off and, it's actually done everything. I'm pretty impressed with that. And it's given us these quite nice pieces of garlic, rather than just a mush, which you typically get if you use a garlic press. Next, I'm trying it with a piece of ginger. And if you don't know, you can use a teaspoon to peel it really easily. I cut it in half and placed it in, and you can see it's still too big, but let's see what happens. So I started grating, and yeah, it's pushing its way through. Keep going, and it's got stuck. Oh, I see, there's a little stop at the end here, and if you push it too hard, it rides over the top and gets a bit stuck, so you do need to be a bit careful with that. But I carried on grating, and that's done really well. Just this little stringy bit at the end. You can clean off any stuck bits, and like the garlic, it's done a great job. Nice bits of ginger. So for this one, we've got the grater bit back here, and the slicer at the other end. But then I realised the grater bit doesn't actually work with the slider. This side's smooth, and I can slide my finger back and forward over it. To use the grater, you actually need to turn it around and use it from the other side. So it doesn't work with the slider, which is a shame. But let's give it a go. I'm going to try slicing up a radish like it shows in the picture. This one fits inside nice and snug. Then apply a little pressure from the top and slice back and forward. Whoa, check that out. That's the end. But look at these pieces. They're wafer thin, and they've been cut perfectly. I'm impressed with that. So I tried it with some ginger, and that worked really well. And also with some garlic. Lovely thin slices. But what else do you think you could use this slicer for? Let me know in the comments. So to use the grater, you just turn it over, and, oh yeah, that really is super sharp, and it's doing a great job of zesting this lime. It is a shame though you can't use it with a slider, but all in all, I do like this gadget, and to wash it, I actually found it really easy. You can just use a scrubbing brush and go against the direction of the blades. And the little green one, yeah, that was easy to clean too. And despite it being a little bit cheap and flimsy, it did work well, and I do like the size of it. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. And even though this one's a far superior product, I'm only awarding it 4 stars too, because I actually thought the slider worked for the chopper and the grater part. And I don't think it would have been that difficult to add a track on this side too, for the slider to clip in too. But it is definitely a great product. Now, this gadget's cool. It unrolls fruit and vegetables. And if you'd like to see me testing it out, along with some other cool gadgets, you can click on the link here. Have fun, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.